Okay, this is a K&S 4523D, which means it's a digital wedge bonder, and this has the deep access option installed, which means the clamps are above. And we're using a 1/2-inch spool of gold wire, and it's fed down through the clamps and then down through the wedge tool. The wedge tool I'm using right here now is, you can see the numbers on that. Well, I'm going to send along the case so you'll know which tool is installed. It's an older tool, but what's important is that it's a .750 length, and I'm going to send along the gauge, so when you put in the wedge tool, you'll place the gauge underneath to set the proper height. That's explained in the manual that you'll receive. Alright, so I'll just explain a few of the buttons here. You have a setup button here, explained again in the manual. Test, show you that the ultrasonics is working. You want to see that the green light turns on. A reset, it'll reset your logic. You have a light on-off switch. Clamp open close, and then you got the high reset option here, which is going to allow your tool to reset at a higher position. There it goes. Anyway, we'll leave it in high reset. I'll do a couple of bonds here, and then we'll go through what the bond parameters are set at. I have it programmed in program number 1 and saved here, so we're just going to step through. I'll do a couple of bonds, show that it's operational. So what we're going to do is, using the chessman here that moves your workstage, and use the left side button to go ahead and do our first bond. I'm going to press and hold to go to search 1. Now we're at loop. Press and hold search 2, and we'll make our second bond. Okay, notice that the wire had come out. So what we're going to do is we're going to open the clamps. Well, actually, a nice feature on here is that the clamps can be held open without actually activating the solenoid by pressing that little lever there. So as you can see, the clamps are now open. You can see from this direction. Anyway, so what I'll do is I'm going to press up, bring the wire down through the tool. Just fell out a little bit, so I'm just going to feed just enough so that we have maybe a 1/2 inch of wire underneath. I'll grab the wire, break off a piece, and I'm going to feed the wire from the back side through the feed hole. This takes a little practice, but there, I'll pull it through, and then I'll close the clamp, and then I'll just bond off the excess wire. So again, we're going to go using our chessman. We're going to use our left side press button on the chessman here, and we'll press and hold for search 1. Okay, we made bond 1. Now we're at loop, and we're going to step back. So you always got to move front to back on this type of wedge bonding. Search 2, bond 2, and then it breaks the wire and creates a small tail underneath the tool of wire, so that you can go ahead and make your first bond again. Search 1, bond 1, we're at loop, we'll step back, search 2, bond 2. Okay, I just want to explain here, these are our parameters here. Search is at 1.41. We're looking at bond 1 parameters. Power is 1.13, time is 1.8, and force is 0.7. And we can step through by using the arrow on our membrane panel here. We can look at 2. Take this out. So 2, we have our search, power, time, and force settings for your bond 2. But you also have your loop, your tail, and your tear settings. Again, this is all explained in the manual, what each setting does. And then we'll go ahead and look at the final page. And then we have our mode is standard, and we have time is long and tail is long. Again, explained in the manual. But like I said, I have this saved, and then you can always load another program. I think I have one loaded in 9, so I'll go ahead and hit 9 just to show you that the parameters are different. Okay, so now I had all 9s in this one here, so you can see that bond 1 and bond 2 are different. Now if I want to go back to 1, I'm just going to go ahead and hit load. Oh, I think I've got the main page here. Let's load 1. I think it's capable of holding up to 200 separate bond programs. Okay, so now we're back to our original settings. And just one other thing I want to point out too is that on this system, with this Chessman, typically you would use your black button here to do your manual type bonding, but it's a little inconvenient, so they put on the old style here where you have a lever, and in order to activate the manual bond, you're going to hit the button here on the membrane panel. You can see the green light turned on for manual, and then we're going to go ahead and use our lever here. And as you can see, you have complete control, you're up and down. And we'll go ahead and do a bond in manual mode. I'll just bring it down till I touch the surface. Bond 1, and we'll step back and go ahead and make bond 2. So in order to do manual bond, you'll need to activate this button here, and then back to semi-automatic mode by taking it off. Okay, you get the work holder here. It's been set up. You want to set your height to at loop equals 1. Again, that's explained in the manual. So you want to get the proper height by setting it to loop equals 1, and we typically have it set at 150 degrees Celsius. And so that's our temperature here. That controls your temperature of your work holder.